The first time the Carthan war fleet entered human space, they expected surrender. They had crushed 3 empires in a single cycle. Their ships were vast black crescents that swallowed starlight. Their cannons could shear moons into drifting gravel. They believed they understood. Power Commander Varish stood at the center of the flagship bridge. His armor was layered in silver plates grown from living alloy. His 4 eyes studied the image of the lone human vessel before them. It was small and narrow. It carried no visible heavy weapons. No shield arrays hummed along its hull. It looked fragile. The human ship did not flee. It did not power weapons. It drifted forward with quiet engines. A transmission pulsed across the void, clear calm almost. Amused Varish allowed the signal through. A human woman appeared on the central display. She wore a simple dark uniform, no armor, no visible rank beyond a thin band on her collar. Her hair was tied back, her eyes were steady. "This is Captain Mara Ionescu of the Terran exploratory vessel Lantern. You have crossed into protected space. State your purpose." Varish felt a ripple of laughter move across his bridge crew. "Protected space, by this we are." The Carthane Dominion. Varish replied, "Your worlds will be catalogued and annexed. Power down your vessel and prepare for boarding." Mara tilted her head slightly. No. Bridge fell silent. Varish leaned closer to the display. "You misunderstand. We are not requesting permission." "I understand perfectly," Mara said. "You believe Force decides ownership. We disagree." Varish gestured to the tactical officer. Project main battery charge levels the screen beside Mara, filled with readings of catastrophic energy output. "Enough to crack continents, enough to boil oceans. Your vessel carries no weapons capable of resisting this fleet." Varish said, "That is not a weapon." He pointed one clawed finger toward a small cylindrical object mounted beneath the human hull. It looked like a metal drum. Unremarkable, unarmed. Mara glanced back as if checking, then she looked at him again. She smiled. "Depends who is holding it." Varish signaled weapons lock. The fleet aligned in flawless formation, targeting grids wrapped around the Lantern. He felt the old certainty settle in his chest. The calm before conquest. Firelances of coherent plasma surged across the void. They struck the human ship. The Lantern vanished. Not exploded. Not shattered. Vanished. Froze. All sensors flared with noise. Space itself seemed to ripple. The stars stretched like reflections in disturbed water. Report. The tactical officer trembled. "Energy readings are everywhere. No fixed source. It is as if space is floating." The Lantern reappeared behind the Carthan flagship. Possibly second pulse radiated outward. Not an explosion, a wave. Every Carthani weapon system went dark. Every shield collapsed. Power conduits overloaded in a cascade of sparks. The massive crescent ships drifted. Varish stared at his dead console. His fleet silenced the human transmission. "Resumed. You fired first," Mara said. "That was unwise." "What have you done?" Varish demanded. "We adjusted local constants," she said. "Just slightly. Your technology relies on very precise relationships between energy and mass. We nudged them. Your weapons cannot function in this region." Now Varish felt a flicker of something unfamiliar. Not fear, not yet, but the absence of control. "That device," he said slowly. "That cylinder," explained Mara. Folded her hands. "It is a field harmonizer. It sings to the structure of space. Most species learn to push energy harder. We learn to listen instead." Varish considered this. "You claim that small object can neutralize a fleet." She nodded, in the right hands behind her calm expression. Varish sensed steel. This human was not bluffing. Her ship had crossed the battle space in an instant. Her device had crippled them without a shot. "Boarding parties." Varish ordered a negative. The tactical officer said, "Our propulsion is offline. Life support is degrading." The Lantern drifted closer. "Not threatening, simply present. You came here to conquer." Mara said, "You saw weak ships. and assumed weakness. You saw no guns and assumed surrender. She leaned slightly toward. The camera humans have fought wars with sticks and stones, with code and gravity. With ideas, we stopped measuring strength by size. A long time, Varesh felt anger rise. Then he forced it down. Rage would not restore power. What do you want to talk? Mara said the word. Struck him as absurd. You disable my fleet and demand conversation. I prevent a massacre, she corrected. If I had wanted destruction, your ships would already be debris. The harmonizer can do far worse than silence reactors. Studied her face, there was no cruelty there, only certainty. You could have destroyed Osius then. Why not? Mara paused. Because we know what it is like to be afraid of a larger power, because someone once chose not to wipe us out. Because mercy scales better than Farin. The Carthan bridge damaged systems flickered weakly, emergency lighting cast. Long shadows across the armored Kruverish felt the weight of responsibility settle on him. Thousands of lives hung in the balance. His pride was irrelevant. What are your terms? Withdraw your fleet, Mara said. Share navigational data so you do not stumble. Back here, by accident, open diplomatic channels. We are willing to exchange knowledge, not chains. Varesh considered the alternatives. They had none if we refused. She did not smile this time. Then I adjust the constants a little. Moria faint tremor passed through the flagship hull, as if space itself had cleared its throat. Varesh believed her. He straightened Carthane vessels. Stand down, transmit withdrawal. Codes across the fleet. Engines attempted to restart. Slowly, gradually, power returned in fragile streams. The harmonizer field loosened its grip. The massive crescent ships began to turn. Mara watched in silence before the channel closed. Varesh spoke again, commander to commander. She inclined her head. Your device, it is small, unadorned, almost invisible. Why display it openly? Mara glanced at the cylinder beneath her ship. Because someone always says, that is not a weapon, she replied. And I like to see their face when they realize it. Varesh felt a low rumble of reluctant admiration. You rely on intellect. Over intimidation, we rely on responsibility, she said. Power without it is just noise. The Carthan fleet aligned for retreat. Stars shifted as engines engaged. Space stretched, then snapped back to commas. The distance grew. Varesh kept the channel open. A moment longer, Captain. Ionescu have proven strength. Few species could have stopped us. Fewer still would have chosen restraint. Mara considered his words. Strength is easy. Restraint takes practice. Varesh absorbed that when next we meet, he said. It will not be as enemies. I will hold you to that, she answered. The channel closed, and the lantern, the bridge crew, exhaled as one. Tension drained from shoulders, hands unclenched from consoles. One of the younger officers let out a shaky laugh. They really thought it was just a drum. Mara allowed herself a small grin. Most do. She looked at the harmonizer readouts. The device hummed softly. A quiet song beneath reality. Set course. For home. She ordered. File a report to Earth Command. Include full telemetry. S. Captain. As the lantern turned toward the blue glow of distant Sol, Mara allowed herself a moment of reflection. Humanity had once believed the biggest gun guaranteed survival. They had built arsenals that could scorch their own planet. They had stared into the abyss of self-extinction. Then they had learned, slowly, painfully, that survival required something more subtle. The harmonizer was born from that lesson. Not a weapon of brute force, but a reminder. Reality itself could be negotiated far behind them. The Carthane fleet slipped back across the boundary of human space. Damaged pride carried with them, and something else. Respects in the quiet of his flagship. Varesh replayed the encounter. The small ship, the calm human, the cylinder that bent physically. Felt the old certainty crumble. power was not mass, not fire, not fear, it was understanding wielded with intent. He issued new orders to his science call. Study spatial harmonics, pursue diplomacy with the Terrans, revise conquest protocols for the first time in many cycles. The Dominion would expand its knowledge instead of its borders, and somewhere in the vast dark between stars, a simple metal drum continued to sing, not of destruction, but of choice, because in the end it was never about the device, it was about the hands steady enough to hold it.